Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. Tonight, we are going to talk a little bit about clubs, leadership, and service here at Lake Forest Academy. My name is Emily Wagner, and I'm the Associate Dean of Admission and Assistant Director of Financial Aid here at LFA. And today I am joined by a group of great individuals who will be able to share their experiences about clubs and student leadership here. I will say that we will have some question and answer at the end of the session. So if a question comes to mind as we are talking, please feel free to pop it into the chat box and we will answer those questions at the end. So I just want to let you know that you can do that as they come to mind. So first, we're going to have the people on the call with me introduce themselves. Carolyn, would you like to introduce yourself first?
Sure. My name is Carolyn Gorowski. I'm the Dean of Admission at LFA and also a college counselor here. And we're really excited to have you guys join us tonight.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kim Graham. I am the Director of Student Leadership and Student Life here at Lake Forest Academy. And additionally, I am an English instructor and I coach.
Inez, do you want to quickly introduce yourself? And then the students will.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. My name is Inez Moroni, and I am the office manager in the admission department.
Hi, my name is Sanvi. I'm a junior at LFA. I've been here 3 years so far, fourth next year. I'm a boarding student and I'm from Palos Park, Illinois.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jack Zhang. I'm a four-year senior at LFA and I'm from Shanghai, China, and I'm a boarding student.
Hi, my name is Mimi Osborne. I am a four-year senior and I'm a day student from Lake Bluff, Illinois.
Thank you, everyone. So today, with the sharing of knowledge from our panelists, we'll highlight what makes Lake Forest Academy's high school experience a distinctive one, providing students with opportunities to pursue their passions through clubs and leadership.
So I would love to give you an overview, a brief overview of club life here at Lake Forest Academy. The Academy offers a wide variety of clubs every single year, reflecting the diverse interests of our student body and the community itself. There are new clubs always being introduced every year based on some shared interests of students. Some clubs are service-based, some are athletic-based, some are passion-based. Regardless, they are all a great way to connect with like-minded individuals or to learn and experience something new. Further, every year we have a club fair where every single club sets up a little station. We open this up in the grand hall of Reed and up in a couple different hallways, and the hallways are just lined with posters and food and music. And this is where students can really explore and see all of the different clubs that we have. Dozens upon dozens where they can sign up for more information, sign up to participate. It's really a very cool experience. And you can see just on this slide some snapshots of a couple different clubs that we have. I would love to turn it over to our students to give you an idea of some of the clubs that they're involved in.
Hi, thank you, Ms. Graham. So as Ms. Graham said, we have a club fair every year. And your freshman year, you will sign up for a lot. That's what I did. I signed up for like 20, 25. I didn't stick with all of them. That's a little bit impossible. But I remember the first ones I signed up for were Model UN, Amnesty International, Asian Culture Union, among others. And math team, I didn't stick with math team, but I signed up for it. My sophomore year, I became a leader of Amnesty. I also started Girl Up with 3 other girls, which is on the slides. And I continued my participation in service clubs like Interact. I started South Asian Student Union with 3 other girls. And yeah, and then now in my junior year, again, I lead Amnesty, which is a human rights club. I lead Girl Up, I lead South Asian Student Union, and I started a new club this year called MAD, or Making a Difference, which focuses on political organizing and grassroots lobbying, as much as we can do from the classroom. And I'm a part of Model UN. So a lot of stuff, but I think in my 3 years here, I've been able to kind of narrow my focus and try out new things. So yeah.
Thank you, Sanvi. Jack, would you like to share a little bit about what you're involved in?
Yeah, definitely. So just like what Sanvi said, I was, as a freshman, I also involved in a lot of different clubs. There are like academic focused, there are service focused, or like there are like business focused, science focused. And I think one of the, like, I think because of my interest in business, I actually at the end was stuck with math team and FBLA the most. And at the same time, with another senior, we actually started the first investment club at our school. So I think really like what Sanvi said, you want to kind of narrow your focus on what you want to pursue, maybe in the future in college or in your future career. So I think in some of that, where, for example, when we're doing math team, we'll meet every single week and doing some fun math problems, and which actually kind of help you to hone your mathematics skills, but at the same time, it's pretty fun to gather a group of similar minds, students, and doing math problems together. And then for example, FBLA or the investment club, sometimes we choose to meet in some time blocks that are already built in your school schedule. For example, with our like kind of academic day schedule, on the G day, we have like a 1.5 hour block of time right after school. It starts at 1:30 p.m. So at that time, you can meet with your clubs. So for FBLA, we chose to meet at that time to actually go over some business education or prepare for your FBLA competition. So I think in that case, LFA actually provides us a lot of opportunities in different clubs. It really gives us this kind of options for you to explore. And I think that probably sums up kind of like the club side of LFA.
Thank you so much, Jack. Mimi, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I'd love to. So I know that Sanvi and Jack were saying a lot about how they really just dived in freshman year to a lot of different activities. I found myself doing quite the opposite. I was pessimistic going in. I didn't really think that there would be something for me, but I went to the club fair and I found out that there was something I was interested in, and I found that as Science Olympiad. So that was the one club that I joined my freshman year, and I've never felt like I'd found more of a community of people that I could be myself with and share interests alongside. We ended up qualifying and winning state my freshman year and going to state the next 2 years, hopefully this year as well. I'm fortunate enough to become a captain the past 2 years. And it's really an amazing experience to be given a community with something that I didn't expect to find. And furthering my passion for science is now something I'm studying in college. And that all really stemmed from giving the opportunity to pursue something that I love, surrounded by people who also love it. Alongside Jack, I'm a member of Future Business Leaders of America, or FBLA. My brother and I qualified for nationals last year through this club, giving us another great opportunity to further something that I didn't think I would be ever interested in, international business. And yet here I was giving a 15-minute presentation on global economy. And so being able to have opportunities like those and find spontaneous passions is something that I really do treasure. And I think that the clubs at LFA provide that opportunity for the students.
Thank you guys so much. So next we're going to move on to the leadership opportunities at Lake Forest Academy, and Kim Graham will discuss that, her role and the different opportunities for students.
Yeah, so as the director of student leadership and student life, I really oversee the clubs and all of the various leadership opportunities for students. And just like with the clubs, there are numerous opportunities for students to gain leadership experience and to grow the leadership abilities that they have. Some of these positions you'll see are elected positions, such as class representative and class presidents from in student council. Some are appointed positions, such as the prefects. Club leadership. There are numerous opportunities for students to become involved in their clubs and to gain leadership roles there. But overall, the goal of student leadership at the Academy is to help students explore their interests while developing skills related to and regarding advocacy, diplomacy, intrinsic motivation, inspiration, how to motivate others, you name it. There are incredible opportunities for leadership growth here. And just as before, I'll turn it over to the students because they are the ones who are doing the great work. They are all student leaders, and I'd love for them to share with you what they're doing.
Yeah, so I'll start off by saying that leadership at LFA kind of starts your freshman year, not necessarily with the position, but just in the classroom. So most of our classes are discussion based, and our teachers are amazing, and they give all of us an opportunity to not only lead discussions, but kind of take charge in the classroom. It is really student-centered learning, and student-centered learning means leadership. It means taking initiative. And if you're open to trying new things, if you're open to taking initiative, to taking that next step, then I think you'll truly, if not find, create a place for yourself at LFA. My freshman year, actually, I ran for student council. I didn't get it. I was crushed. But that was completely fine. I ran again the next year and I got class representative. But in addition to that, I kind of realized after my student council debacle freshman year that there were other avenues for leadership. So I started, like I said earlier, South Asian Student Union. And I think that was the club where I really created a community for myself and my peers at LFA. And a leadership position in that kind of made me understand the value of collaboration. I think one of the hardest things, in any school is time management. But at LFA, managing like your leadership and your clubs with your schoolwork, although it can be a lot at times, it's relatively simple just because you have so many people around you as support. It's rare that one person leads a club. There's usually like 2 or 3 other people helping you alongside you and a teacher to help you along the way. So I think it was through that club that I kind of understood that at LFA, leadership is not necessarily a one-person thing. It comes in groups, it comes with your teachers. You're not alone in it. And then again, I also lead Amnesty, and that was a position that, because I didn't create that club, I applied for it. We were interviewed and it was a selection process. So some clubs are a little bit more competitive in selecting leaders, but again, if you're passionate, you will be able to do it. And then now I'm also on student council as a class representative. And on student council, we do a lot of things ranging from fundraisers to fun class activities to service projects. Last year, we did a coat drive for Cradles to Crayons, which is a local organization in Chicago. And we were able to collect like 200 coats, which was amazing considering it was a COVID year. A lot of us were online. We still did a lot. So that was great. We also organized prom, and we're having a fundraiser for that tomorrow, actually. So yeah, I think overall leadership at LFA it's what you make of it. It's about whether you're open to trying new things, to taking initiatives, to proving yourself in the classroom. If student council doesn't work for you, you can always be a club leader. If being a proctor doesn't work for you, if you're a day student, you always have the chance to be a prefect. There are numerous ways to get involved as long as you're open to it.
Thank you, Sanvi. Would anyone else like to share their experiences with leadership at Lake Forest Academy?
Yeah, so I'll go next. So I think on top of what Sanvi said, a lot of the clubs here at LFA, they're actually student run. So the students are like the student leaders, they will send out the emails about when we're meeting, what are we doing. And I think in most of the time that the faculties, they're actually be kind of like the guidance in the club. So they're helping you. And also, as what Sanvi said, students are actually given opportunity to start your own club, especially if you're an underclassman and you were thinking of starting a club, just like what I did with the investment club. We actually started in my sophomore year, so we're actually able to manage a club as underclassmen. And I think in that case, it gives us a lot of time to actually grow. And right now we actually started our first student managed fund, which I think is a great opportunity for high school students to actually get your hands dirty in the stock market. And I think that was one of the most I think impressive part about the LFA like club leadership. And I think on the other hand, I'm also the captain for math team and also the president for FBLA. And I think for those clubs, which might be a little bit more competitive due to the reason that the clubs are competing in like regional, state, or even international level competitions. For those clubs, I think really if you're passionate about it, just like me, I spent like my past 4 years very committed to these two clubs. You will be given the opportunity to at least take different leadership position at those clubs. So like for FBLA, we have president, we have vice president, we even have officers. So there are like multiple like times or positions that you can involve in with leadership. And I think on top of the club leadership, I'm also one of the proctor this year at Atlas. So it was more of a kind of like leadership in the dorm. So what we actually do is that we prepare a lot of events for the boarding students who are probably away from home, but where we're trying to get them involved in more fun events. Just like last week, we actually managed a kind of like a late night breakfast celebration before finals. So students can actually get a little bit de-stress before the finals, and we think it was a huge fun. So I think in that sense, to sum up, there are just a lot of leadership positions at LFA in different fields. So I think if you're interested in being a leader, you definitely have a lot of chances to do it.
Thank you so much, Jack. Mimi, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I would love to. So besides being a captain of science Olympiad, which I talked about earlier, my major role is that I am a prefect, which means that I am one of the chosen by teachers, student leaders to represent the students of LFA. And something that is very unique about this is that we have the capability to voice the student opinion to the head of school, to the dean of students, among others. And it's something that you don't really notice how important it is until you see that when you can voice the student's opinion, it's something that can't be taken for granted. Because we're in such a diverse community, there are so many different aspects of thought that I find around campus every single day. And being able to be in a diverse group of prefects that have the capability to voice those opinions is something that really makes our community what it is, because it's inclusive of every idea and every aspect of student life. And besides being a prefect, I am a 2-year captain of varsity field hockey. And something that I don't really hear a lot about and leadership wise is the sports teams, which is something that I find interesting because alongside clubs and various leaderships, like Sami talked about, representative and president of classes, and Jack did with FBLA, being a sports captain also provides an opportunity to create a safe space for other students and for a love and growth for a sport that many have never tried before. And so being able to have that opportunity to watch people grow and to help them alongside that journey is something that I really treasure. And so those are my 2 main leadership roles at LFA. And I truly treasure being a face that people can come to in the hallway, say hi, And I know that Jack and Sambi are also that, and it's something that I just find truly unique about LFA.
Can I add on to that really quickly?
Yes, of course.
So, yeah, with what Mimi said about being a captain. So I'm not a captain to her extent. I'm the captain of JV volleyball, which, okay, for me, that was amazing because I'm not the best at volleyball. It's been a journey here, playing that sport, a journey. And it's like what Mimi said, it's something that you really treasure. It doesn't matter how good you are at a sport, at an activity. If you show that you really care about it, that you really care about the people around you, and that you have the skills to advocate for those people, you will get a leadership position. There's no doubt about it. I was pretty surprised when I got that position because, I mean, like I can pass, I'm no like volleyball star. So, I mean, for me, that really solidified that aspect of LFA, that if you're passionate about something, if you're a kind person, if you make yourself approachable, you're going to do amazing. And again, like with what Mimi said, it's amazing to, you know, have freshmen come up to you in the hallways and like approach you and ask you questions. I think being a mentor at LFA is a huge deal. And if you don't have a specific leadership position, you always have that, regardless of what grade you're in or how old you are.
Thank you so much, you guys. You guys have shared great information for our families here, and I love all of your perspectives. One question did come in. I think we'll break into question and answer session now. So if you guys have questions, make sure to put them in the question chat, in the chat. The first question that came in had to do with service, and if there are any clubs that focus on service or volunteering, if any of you guys would like. I think, Mimi, you're involved in Interact. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I would love to. So this is something I completely forgot to mention earlier, mainly because I was given a position of leadership to work in Interact, which is a club based on service to a school called AJ Katzenmeier, which is a partner school of Lake Forest Academy. And I was given that position over the COVID year. And so it's something that I often overlook. But looking back at it now, my position allowed me to work with children from underprivileged communities around us and provide opportunities to watch them grow and to give them resources and to help them develop as young scholars that they are. And so Interact, and Sambi can talk more about Amnesty, which she's in, but Interact, what I'm specifically in, is we work on projects dedicated towards under-resourced communities around us for younger students. So being able to use the resources that Lake Forest Academy provides us with and being able to help a community that doesn't have necessarily those same resources is something that I volunteer with, and many other students among LFA volunteer with. I think it's one of the more popular clubs because it's just an opportunity to feel good knowing that you're doing something that's benefiting other people.
Yeah, and so with what Mimi said, I think Interact focuses more on local service. It's like you really feel what you're doing, you know what you're doing. Amnesty has more of a global focus. So Amnesty International, you probably know what it is. It's an international human rights organization, which was founded, I think like about 100 years ago or so, maybe a little bit less, but we are a chapter of that at LFA. And so what we do is a lot of fundraising for both Amnesty and other organizations like Refugee One, focused on promoting and advocating for human rights. We also do events like Right for Rights, which we're actually about to have tomorrow, in which we write letters demanding the release of prisoners of conscience. We also attend marches and rallies and protests when they come up. For example, a few months ago, we attended a protest in Chicago for refugees' rights with Refugee One. And so again, like I said earlier, Amnesty is it's kind of a way for you to stay connected with current events, stay connected with the global community. LFA's motto is Midwestern Heart, Global Mind. And so I think honestly, Interact and Amnesty together are the perfect representation of that motto. But yeah, and the second part of your question, you can totally initiate service projects whenever you want to. They can be from an organization that you work with outside of school or just your own idea. Last year, or I'm a leader, an ambassador for an organization called Sonia Shah. And we do a lot of fundraisers. It's not part of LFA, but last year I brought up an fundraiser we were doing to the school. I sent an email about it, saying that anyone could participate from LFA. So you can initiate any project you want to, even if you don't make it a club. It can just be a one-time thing, or you can make it a club. Just because Amnesty and Interact exist as service clubs doesn't mean that you can't create your own. So, yeah.
Thank you guys so much. And kind of stemming off of that, can you guys share a little bit about what it's like to start a club?
Yeah, so I think I can talk a little bit about that. As I've already talked about the investment club that we founded. So I think definitely at first it was not very easy because at LFA there are like so many clubs that at the club fair we can see a lot of boards around. So it's very hard to actually be kind of like one of the most popular clubs at the very beginning, because there are just a lot of clubs, and some of the clubs they're already very well known, just like the math team, the science Olympiad, the Interact. But I think what you actually can get from this kind of like experience of founding a club is that you actually know how to kind of like manage and do a lot of organizational change stuff. So for example, for I think our investment club at the very first, like we don't really have a lot of members just because it might be a new thing to the community. And I think probably it's because of what we introduced, like we bring a lot of like guest speakers, and at the time we kind of like introduced the first student managed fund. I think a lot of people who like weren't actually interested in our club kind of become more passionate about it, just because we are now managing the real money, and you really get a chance to learn more about finance through hands-on experiences. And I think in that case, when you're starting a club, is hard, but it's very challenging, but at the same time it's very rewarding, not just only because you get a leadership kind of experience, but also I think you're gathering the similar mind people in at LFA, and putting them together and then to generate some real actually, like for us it's like profits, but you're kind of like collaborating and then do a lot of stuff together. So I think that was like majorly my experience with it.
Yeah, and I can add on to that. I think in my experience, it was fairly simple to create the club, to get a faculty advisor because your teachers are always willing to help you, and to get other leaders to join you. I think the more difficult part is sustaining it, because LFA is an academically rigorous school. You will get a lot of work. So I think as long as you're passionate, you will be able to sustain your club. You will be able to keep it going. You'll be able to continue to lead it. But that passion is a really important aspect, that dedication. If you take advantage of the resources you have around you, the people around you, the time you have, for example, free periods or study halls, you'll definitely be able to do that. I mean, as you can see with the three of us, I mean, like we're successfully running clubs and have like pretty good grades. I'm sure all of us do. So I think that it's fairly simple to start a club, as long as you consult others, you have like a pretty good idea, you have a drive, you'll do great. And the other question asked about joining clubs, I can talk about my experience. So the only very competitive club I'm in is Model UN. For that, because it is a conference you go to, it's a selective club. So you will have to write a position paper and take a quiz, both of which determine whether you join LFA's Model UN team. But for the other clubs I'm a part of, it's mainly just a sign-up basis. Your involvement depends on how much time you invest in the club, and whether you go to the meetings. So I think for the majority of clubs, it's like that. But I'm sure you guys can elaborate more, like math team and science Olympiad, it's a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, I can talk about for Science Olympiad. So in the past years, I have had to take a test in order to get into the club based on whatever specific event I am targeting for. So last year I took an event on ornithology, which is the study of birds. And it's obvious exactly how I felt. So I just studied for it for like 2 days. It's completely fine. I got like a 30% on that test and I got into the club. They just want to see that you're dedicated. And if you prove that you are dedicated and you're willing to learn and grow, it's something that your leaders will take into account, as well as the faculty advisor. And on Science Olympiad, it's no cut. There's always a spot for you. So even if you're not on the varsity team, there's always a chance for you to learn more about what you're passionate about. And that's for almost every club. It's like that. And for the other clubs I'm in, I'm a member of Jewish Student Union and Black Student Union. And by looking at me, you can tell Black Student Union is not something I would have found myself joining at the beginning of the year, but my friends talked about it and it seemed like something I was passionate about. And I don't attend every single meeting, and that is completely fine. They're more than understanding and accepting of my schedule, and I attend when I can. And it's not something that you have to be cut from. It's something that you go when you can, and there's always a spot for you. And every single club at LFA, they're so welcoming, and that's something that I truly value, because a lot of schools have clubs that are very intense, and though ours are, it's something that people are willing to work with you instead of sort of against you. And it's not just a competition, it's a community.
Yeah, and while I think a lot of clubs seek to create like a community of like-minded individuals, like what Mimi said, it also creates a space for, some clubs create a space for hard conversations, for discussions, to kind of see different points of view. I'm like what Mimi said, I'm Indian, but I'm also in Unidos, and I'm also in Black Student Union. It's just a way to understand other people's perspectives, understand their experiences, and kind of get to know your classmates on a deeper level. So I think that's another great thing about LFA, is it's the best place to try new things and to learn new information and gain knowledge from different perspectives. Everyone here is really supportive, really understanding, and it's a really comfortable community for you to get out of your comfort zone, if you kind of get what I'm saying. But yeah, I completely agree with what Mimi said.
Wonderful. Thank you guys so much for sharing all of your perspectives, and thank you for everyone for asking questions and listening. We have just a few more, a closer look sessions coming up in the new year. So one on college counseling, and one we will bring LFA parents on, and you guys can ask them your questions and you can get a great parent perspective. So like I said, thank you guys so much for joining. If you'd like to look on our website, we have recordings of past closer looks as well. And if you have any questions, feel free to always reach out to the admission office, and our contact information is here on the screen. So we look forward to working with all of you, and thank you again for joining us tonight.